Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the Financially Fit group. So, yesterday, your assignment was to get out all the mail and write down all of your bills when they were due, everything that you owe on, and monthly bills like utilities and your mortgage and car payment. So, I hope that you took that first step to collect everything. And so today, what we will be discussing is your actual budget, how to really put it down on paper and make it work for you. Because a lot of times, you guys were telling me yesterday that, you might write a budget out and it makes sense on paper, but you don't ever stick to it. You don't really know how to follow through with that plan. So today, I'm going to show you a tool that we use that's called a cash flow plan. And you do this every single month at the beginning of the month, before the month even starts, on paper, on purpose. And you do that because you want to tell your money where to go. You don't want your money to tell you where to go. Because if you're not careful, you're swiping that debit card and you're using cash out of another fund to pay for on-the-whim purchases. So I'm going to teach you some of those things on how we make the cash flow plan work for us. So before I get into that, I wanted to share with you some of what Dave Ramsey calls the baby steps of financial planning. And there's actually 7, and I'm only going to share 3 with you today. And just kind of teach you, because this is probably where most people are. You probably join this group because you either are in debt or you just want to get a better handle of your money and save, for your children's college or vacations, different things like that. So the first step is to get $1,000 in savings fast. You do that as quickly as possible, whether you sell some items, or you don't go out to eat for, a couple weeks, whatever it is, you get that $1,000 fast. And that is your emergency fund. If you make less than $20,000 a year, you can stick to $500, but you want to put this money somewhere that's accessible. So, that if your car breaks down or if there's a medical emergency, things like that, you can get it repaired or fixed, or, you can handle that cash. Now, I wouldn't put it in just in your home laying in an envelope, because all of a sudden a pizza becomes an emergency. You don't have cash, and there it is, and you grab it out. So I would put it, possibly in just another checking account, separate from your checking account that you use to pay your monthly bills. But do that and do it fast. That's before you touch any of your debt. And that step didn't make a lot of sense to us in the beginning, because we're like, we need to put that money towards the debt so that we're not drowning in debt. But we did it, and we did it fast. We did it within like a month, just because emergencies are going to happen, whether you plan for them or not. Cars are going to break down. Kids are going to need, things that just come up. So you have to plan for those. And when you have that $1,000 and your car breaks down and it's $600 to fix, you don't have a car crisis and a financial crisis. You just have a car crisis because the money's there. You just take the money out and you pay for it, and you build that emergency fund back up. So that's something to work on. And that's the first step that you want to take before you start paying off all the debt. And I'll go over that more in the savings lesson and in the debt lesson. The second thing that you want to do after you have that $1,000 in savings, and some of you might already have that, so you can work on this next step, is dumping your debt by using the snowball method. And I will go into that in a lot of detail on how the snowball method works. But you just want to start paying off all of your debt. Any extra income goes towards debt. And then after that step is completely done and you have no debt besides your mortgage, you will get 3 to 6 months of your living expenses in savings. And that's your fully funded emergency fund, to where if you are out of work for 3 to 6 months, you're not worried about finances. That's in place. You have those expenses to where you can figure out another job or things like that. So that's another important step. And then it goes on to other things. And you can look all those up on daveramsey.com. And it's called the 7 baby steps. So today, back to our budget, the cash flow plan. this is a very detailed budget, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed because there's a lot of things in this that you probably didn't budget for, that you're not thinking of. I know for us, something that we never budgeted for was medical expenses. We don't go to the doctor a lot at all, so I just put a zero in that column. But then I wasn't counting for when my kids go and there's a $20 copay for each one. Or when we go to the pharmacy and there's a $20 copay for each prescription. Those things add up, and $100 a month can make or break your budget. So this document is going to go through every single thing. And so I have provided the link for you to print this document off and use it every single month. Now, keep in mind that it's going to take you 3, 4, maybe even 5 months to get your budget down and really know what you're spending. Like you might write, I spent $300 in groceries, and then you spent $6. Well, you're going to have to move some things around in your budget. The thing that I like about this budget is at the end, you are going to take what income you have and what your expenses are, and that needs to equal 0. Every single dollar needs to be accounted for. And let's say at the end of the month, you have $500 extra. Well, you're not going to go on some vacation or go away for the weekend. You're going to put that $500 towards whatever baby step you're working on. So if you don't have your $1,000 in savings, that $500 goes towards savings, and you rewrite the budget and you put $500 in savings. That's how that works. So take some time and really dig into this. Ask me questions in the comments below on anything at all, but just really be thorough with this. Now, if you are married, I strongly suggest that you do this with your spouse, simply because you both need to be on the same page. You need to have, common goals. If one of you is trying to save and the other one is just splurging, your budget isn't going to work. So you have to come to common ground. And with us, I'm the nerd. I'm the one that puts the budget all together because I like spreadsheets and I like number crunching and things like that. But every single Thursday, we sit down and say, okay, these are the bills that have to be paid. This is what's allotted for groceries. This is what's allotted for gas. This is your below money. And below money is just money that's not accounted for, because guess what? You're going to go to the gas station and get a bottle of water, or you're going, to go through and get a Subway sandwich or something like that. So what we do, we have an allotted amount of money that John gets and then I get each week that, it's not really, it's kind of like our allowance, and it's just our cash. So you have to write that in too, because you can't say, well, I'm not going to spend any money like that. So anyway, so that is your cash flow plan. So a lot of you, maybe you're afraid to write out a budget because you're afraid of what you might find. And I'm serious. When you sit down and you open all that mail and you write it all down, even if you're behind on payments, write that down. And always take care of your necessities first. That's something that I love about Dave Ramsey when he talks about, maybe creditors are calling you. You're trying to get out of debt and it's just taking you forever and you feel like you're getting phone call after phone call after phone call. That's okay. You tell those creditors that you want to pay them, but you can't at this moment. You are working towards that, and you take care, of your shelter, of your food, of your transportation first. So with that being said, we'll go into the debt a little bit later in this group, but I just want you to really, really take some time. If you are a single person and you are doing this budget alone, I suggest that you find an accountability partner to help you. And you don't have to go over all of your financing with them, but it's good to let somebody else know what you're doing and what you're working towards and what your goals are. And that way, if you are on a very, very tight budget and you don't have $20 extra and you're wanting to order a pizza, you call that person up or you text them and let them know, and they can talk you out of it. It's just really good to have somebody to hold you accountable in all aspects of life, but finances especially. So a lot of people think, I don't really have to do this cash flow plan. I know what I make. I know what my expenses are, and I'll go from there. And a lot of times you do that out of fear of what you might find, how much you owe, different things like that. You feel like it kind of has a straitjacket connotation of that, a budget. And, you can make your budget as tight as you want. You can make it as loose as you want, but it has to be realistic. If you are currently spending $800 a month on groceries, you can't say, well, now I'm only going to spend $100. It's not going to work. It's not realistic. And you're not going to stick to it. And you're going to get frustrated and you're going to give up. Cash flow plans don't work when you overcomplicate the process or when you leave things out. Just like I mentioned before, make sure that you write down every single expense and you record it on this, and then do the math, add all the numbers up. One question I know I'm going to get is, I don't have a salary income, or I make a different income each and every week. Well, I am too. I have been self-employed most of my adult life. And so my income varies from week to week, drastically even sometimes. But you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to be bringing home, and just kind of average that out, or maybe even guesstimate on the low end of that. And then anything extra goes on that baby step number 1. So if you have questions, please post them below. I have posted the cash flow plan in this post above. So just click on that. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, or anything at all. I'm here to help. Thanks, guys, and have an awesome day.